Okay, 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 okay. Okay, what's this date? Hello, today's date. Oh yes, okay. Today's date is the 5th of January 2026. Time now is 2:35 a.m. So today's video is going to speak on two OB's projects. Before we do anything on some OBI's project, it's the Tier 3C corn, or the other one. C for Charlie, O for Oscar, O run for Romeo, N for November, corn. So we got that. So Genesis. So this is before we do edit projects. Edit project shows stuff complete. It's not difficult today, but this is a edit project. E for echo, Z for zebra, E for echo. I'm saying to this E for echo. This is a project of editor. But you can read it if you want to read it. But it's a formal document writing on an A2 sheet of paper. But apart from that, let's go to OB's project. OB's project is called O for Oscar, B for Bravo, I for India, or Tier 3C. Before we continue, there's we're gonna do some. It's this product. So we got the artificial genesis system on OB as well. If I look at my account, I've changed to AGS, Artificial Genestation System. AGS, Artificial Genestation System. A for Oscar, G for Gold, S for Sarah, but we'll choose World Cup. So, what is the artificial genestation system? So, we have decided to make the artificial system which can regard certain animals, human life, as a part of the rebuild, the bind and break system, the create and destroy system, and the repair and rebuild system, the repair and renew system, the bind and break, the bind, build and break. But it's the bind between build and resume. The goal of this is to have a trident ruling between what is sustainable and what is actually doable. For evolution of the artificial digestive system. Basically, you got an animal which is root of the teeth. You got things like sand on Mars, the dust of Mars, or the dust clouds, things that on Mars are literally unsafe because they are. Where does life come from? Life, there was no life in the dust. But this is not about radiation. Radiation is basically my OB's hypothesis for life on Mars is that there's no life on Mars as if there's on Earth because of radiation poisoning. You believe that yes, you got radiation over the sun, but the life is unsustainable for Mars. So the life on Earth is not on the surface of Mars. If you go either under, what is life or because the radiation because the radiation will wear the life out in the soil because this is dust, no sun. Because that's how Mars orbit was in the time of the creation of Earth, and Mars was really hot, so the radiation wasn't sustainable. So the Mars will just evolved to not have any microbes on the soil. It's just a dust thing, so there's no life on Mars to this day because of erosion of life because of radiation, which is the radiation from the air. Mars does not have a stable atmosphere either because the atmosphere is you can't breathe it in. There's no oxygen there. There's nothing there. And so the Earth is not stable there. So the second hypothesis is cryogenesis. So cryogenesis is basically the freezing of cells whether you know or not, or the body to ensure the social functions do continue, which is the heart and the brain, sensory functions, but not the excretion and depression. So you don't need to pee. You need to use the toilet, pee. It's a cryogenesis chamber. So you got a cryogenesis table. So cryogenesis tables allow you to literally just come up. So Cryogenics allows you to get up a system in the cryogenics lab. So it's you. Imagine you when you freeze your cells, or your cells out. You freeze your cells out. So you freeze your cells out. So the cryogenics will be you with your cells in the it's a refrigerator for you, for your body, but it's not really in the future. So that's how that works. But I'm trying to use that to sustainably. I don't think I don't need you guys to be freezing stuff in the future. I want to be in the future here and now. So I want you guys to have something else better. Because this is very policy. We can use it for other things like other animals, such as other things animal, but not human beings. Please, guys, we're too advanced for that. So, is like freezing stuff for the future. Anyone who knows what want to do it themselves can do it themselves. But if it does work for human beings, but not for anybody else. Thank you very much. The children excluded, everyone excluded, and the children. Not for the dogs, not for the cats, not for anything else. With the individual, just the cats to be themselves. And if you can get animals to do it, we need to be under the system of OBINexus. So, credits for the future. So, credits experiment and what else? Credits just means freezing stuff. Cryo, meaning cryomancer, master of sorcery of ice. You got like a cryomancer of ice. Cryomancer is one that controls the kind of ice and the weather and the freezing and the weather, and the hot and the cold. That's actually doable. But you have to use it as an electromagnetic field of ice. That's what cryomancer does. But it's not magic. It's possible, but it's not magic. So you go like Sub Zero. If Sub Zero is a scientist, he will have he'll be a cryomancer because he's a cryomancer because he controls ice. He can ship ice. He said he can ship ice swords. Or he can ship. He's a cryomancer. If you go cryomancer, you go firemancer, and that's a scorpion. Scorpion. So that's the idea to have this naturally. So I want to be able to walk on water. So basically, the walk on water is basically cryomancer because the water because you can control water. You go cryogen. So cryogen is basically the cryogen is basically the no wait. Cryogen is basically the crystal. Cryo means you can control of liquidation of water. So you got solitude and solitude. So you got the kind of states of water from ice from hot to cold, which will be like a boiling point. But at some point you can't control it because it's either a steam and or other fire. You can't so I want you to work on water, but as a cryomancer. But that's a bit for me to do. But if you treat it as electromagnetic symbols, the system, electromagnetic system can control the fire, control the water as electrodes, electricity, which means next point. So electrolysis, and then the magnetic point as electromagnetic to control with some kind of gauntlet. So I'm using gauntlet to control this like a Ben 10 gauntlet to control water and fire. But it has to obey my rules. So, if I have water, I use a gauntlet. I'm going to be on my wrist. But no, it's not my back of my wrist. It'll be very close because it has to be on my wrist. So it's not be on the back of my hand. But, it will be someone because I'll be pushing my buttons. So it's a gauntlet that doesn't. If you look at my hand, that fire is naturally. So that's just like a Spider-Man web shooter. So like something like that. So it's a gauntlet, but it comes from your thing. Now we've got the Iron Man reactor, which is like basically you have the power of solve. So this is like a cryogenic system. So you require must just control ice and control ice. So it's possible, it's doable, but you have to control the solitude, which is the ice itself, as frozen ice, and you got the solitude, which is water, which is how you got you got water in liquid form, you got it in ice form, and you got it in frost, in like a ice cap form, which is like the snow or the ice cap. And so you get like a frozen lake. It's not you got it in three areas. So the message has to matter. So I want to walk on water. I have to use ice. I have to put an ice sheet on top of my leg so I can control it for as I walk. As I'm walking on water. But it's basically not controlling the water per se. It's about not because I hate Jesus. I'm not Jesus. I'm not computer. I'm just doing it for fun. Because, I'm saying it for fun because I don't hate Jesus, and I just have I just have I made my own mind up. So the Bible lets you make your own mind up. So I made my own mind up. So if you don't know that, that's what you can do. So the Bible is doing. So I'm gonna try and walk on water for fun. You see what I can be Jesus, but using cryogenics, cryogenics, if you can get the thing. But I'm gonna have a gauntlet because the gauntlet can symbolize ice gauntlet. This is gonna be a holograph, about to holotech, which is a holographic interface of tech, and the tech will allow me to cryomancy and use the ice, water, and gas as no, ice and water safely for like for myself from no gas. So there's a lot of gas here, so it's for me to not solve myself. So it could last but not least is the Iron reactor. Iron Man, Iron Man chest plate, Iron Man reactor. Basically, this reactor is a Iron Man chest reactor. Basically, this kind of reactor is the arc reactor is a crucial component. The arc reactor is basically the arc reactor is designed to prevent shrapnel from reaching Iron Man's heart and into power electromagnetic electromagnetic. Yeah. It's an arc. So if you got the arc reactor, it's so important. So I'm just getting my own arc reactor, but it's basically my own Iron Man. Well, so it's my own Iron Man arc reactor. It's basically my own Iron Man arc reactor. So my own Iron Man arc reactor is basically from cryogenesis, which is basically meant to be an alphabet because the goal of this is sharpness. So all the things and impurities that can happen, the breach should not be in your chest, Nnamdi. So you can have an alcohol. So you don't want to ice when you sit down on one of these. So it's really a safety protocol. So you have to have that as a core component. Because the arc reactor is basically a reactor of electron that can control system. So the arc is in his chest. Iron Man has an arc reactor in his chest to prevent shrapnel from entering his heart and to power his suit. After Iron Man was severely wounded on the battle, that was the only thing that kept him alive. Afterwards, I became the first bullet of Iron Man's suit and honor identity. His identity of the arc reactor. So I want to see the arc reactor. I'll bring them. The original one that's built. Oh, you got a bob of you got an outcross a bob, but it's just like everyone's stuff. But the goal is to have something safely buildable via cryogenics. So cryomancy. I think it's basically simulator. This is basically cryomancer. Cryomancer. What's it called? Basically, so what's this for a cryomancer? What is a cryomancer made? So I'm just going to find the definition of a cryomancer. Because I see a lot of high feet, but I'm saying a cryomancer is used to describe an individual who's building with controls, shape, controls, and manipulate ice. In context of a more common universe, cryomancer is a rare race of engineers. Ice control, it's possible because you got water, you can control it, but you have to use electromagnetism. So you can control it, basically, it you have to use electronic systems and like electric. I think this is possible because of the poles, the magnetic poles. So even who controls the magnetic poles of a system can control this of the earth is basically can control the ice flow and the ice caps and all that stuff. So magnetic poles are regions of at the end of a magnet. Yeah, at the end of a magnet. Um, Magnetic poles, regions at the end of a magnet where the extension magnetic field is the strongest. Above magnet in the associated end, above magnet is origin itself the north south direction. The north seeking pole such magnet is called a north pole magnet. The south seeking pole of any magnet is the south magnetic pole. Unless the magnetic poles are different, the poles repel like so basically. Opposite attracted them, but it's basically a current. So last thing how does this work? How does it work? So if you got a piece of wire there's a current going through it, raw GB, red, green, blue. You cut the wire in two. So one wire, go one cut, let's say 10 meters wire. You cut the wire, you cut it in two with the scissors, and you take those same two wires and cut it into four, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 wires. Now, the 4 wires can have the same current, but have to use magnetism. So they have to use electromagnetism. So you have to have 4 coils of wire to have this kind of system before you do. So the 4 coils of wires are basically the one piece of wire that's cut into 4. You can go into 8 if you want, but the more you cut it, the less electric, the more you have to change it into magnetic. So you have to decide, would you want more electric current or more magnetic current to be more different? So you now have to have the poles, the actual arcs, the actual electrical system go through the wires and the copper, and the copper will come out the other end. So that's the work. So you have to use electrolysis. This is called electrolysis. So you get an electrode, which is the wire. You get electrolysis, which is the wireless electrode, which you use to power the suit, regardless, which is called wireless electricity. So you say now if you get an electrode flowing through that system one way, you have to have the other system rotating the other way. So if you have four, then it goes 4 wires, four simple wires. Now let's cut these 4 wires into 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8. So you now get 8 coils of wire that can be electrolysis. Now you have to take this one 8 coil, or it's 4 to the power of 4 times 4, which is 16. You get 16 wires total that can be used for electrolysis. Now that's one set of wires A. So mathematically, I don't know how this works. How this works, but not really Nnamdi. So now, if you remember how this works, so this goes electricity, how this works. So how does electronics work? So this wire, 8 coils of wire, have a spin. So you can send the electrical current, you can position the electrical current, put negative to positive charge, negative to positive to negative, positive to negative. So this positive means that you get a wave propagating one way. So one way will be north pole, north attracts, north attracts, south repels. So you get one set of wires, which is like two set of 4, north to south, and you get south to north. And you south to north. And basically, this position this way will make it positive to negative, attract to repel, and then repel to attract. But these are 8 wires in total. So you get 4 wires connected to from attract to repel, and from other way, you get from repel to attract. And I know this works. I know because I've tried it before. You can get electric current from this wire as a stable system. But the goal of this is to spin it one way and spin it the other way. So this wire, if this is the grid, this is the way you can control the system properly. So you get north, south, north, which is the matrix of positive, negative to negative. This represents energy, magnetic energy of a system. Or the poles, how the poles orient. So this is called orientation. So the division of orientation, so you get positive to negative orientation, and you get negative to positive, which is the matrix of north south, which is attracted to repel and repel to attract. And this is a matrix of this is you use to verify the power structure. Then you get the other one. So the other one will be the transpose. And the transpose will be negative to positive and positive to positive. So negative to positive and negative. So you get positive, you get negative. You get so you get the two minus so you get negative to positive and positive to negative to positive. So you get negative. So this one. So you get positive to negative. So you get if you get positive to negative, which is north, so you get south to north, and if you get south to north, you get south to north, you get north to south, which would be south to north. You get north to south, which is the first one. You get south to north, which is the first array. The first place, you get south to north, you get north to south and south to north. So south to north would be the matrix you have. So this is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, you get south to north and north to south. As you can see, this north here is this south here. So basically, this is south. You get this one. So you get the opposite transpose of the matrix. So this is the power matrix. This is the power grid I'm talking about. So you get alternation between the current, but you can power some when the poles meet. They have to be alternating. So this is an alternating current AC current adapter. Because you have the power from alternating, but it's a stable one. This one that's stable. So this one it's an alternating current power source. So you see, as you can see, these two matrices, positive, negative, and negative to positive, is one matrix, or 4 by 2 matrix. You get negative to positive and positive to negative, which is 102 by 2. But when the waves propagate and they meet each other, they can make an alternating current using an alternating magnetic field. But this is the power wireless interface. This is a power stable, power isotope. The power is stable. So this is and this can represent node poles. So the node poles is attracted to the south pole, and you get the south. So see, as you can see, this so you get the negative repel. So negative repel, and positive repel. It's on the inside out. So they repel and they're stable. So as soon as you spin them, as soon as you start spinning them, when they spin, there'll be some kind of current. You can switch. So because they're facing each other. So if you get negative, so if you get the matrix column, matrix row 0, column row 0, column row 0, column 1. Row 0, column 1 is negative charge, and row 1, column 2, positive charge. Row 0, column 0, matrix 2, matrix B and matrix A. Then row 0 and column row 1 and column 0 positive charge. This one said you have to have an alternate color sequence. So this alternate color sequence it's not introduction. This is electrolysis we're doing. So the electrolysis model has an alternate color sequence, and this is how this works. So this is one of the magnetic force of it. The system shows that it's alternate, it's playing round. So if you get negative positive, you get the matrix negative positive, which is a stable attitude. When this machine is working, you get the repelling, not to repel, of the system, and you can never get any connection to this electrolysis. Just be safe. So this is an alternative current electrolysis model. So until you can have a charge, until you can make basically you can verify that a positive to a negative charge in the two systems are perpendicular. So they can until you get a positive and negative charge mixed. So you get this two of mixture. So you're going to have this kind of conjugate mixture of positive negative. So this matrix here, negative positive of charge of all of the thing for northeast, for north pole and south pole. No, for north pole being positive. Wait, for north pole being positive charge, and south pole being negative charge. You have to show that the system has to never die itself. So this is alternate, this is perpendicular, and this is an alternate culture model by a black man with Nnamdi. But this alternate culture, this positive charge, negative positive charge, repel each other, repel the kind of system of force. So you never connect, you never times out when you want it to. You never connect when you don't want it to. So that's to go up, but that's here. So as you can see now, that's gonna work as intended. But the problem now I'm saying to you is the actual magnetic system of the system. So magnetic poles mass is formed. So there's a way to calculate this system. So magnetic pole. So magnet is you get a bar of magnet. So a node pole has current. So they have a magnetic field propagating through them. So but you get a node pole and a south pole, and the south pole repels, and the north pole attracts. But basically a gravitational model of it. But you can. So you got iron attracting two north poles, two south poles. The compass the compass works with a magnetic field. So you try to get a field that that will not lock in yourself. So you can have this as a magnetic field to so. But this is a magnetic water. But what is magnetic to? What is magnetic to? H2O is magnetic to you get H2O, and you get H2O, and you get H8O2. I mean O2H O8H2. But this is basically O8. So O8 is like the sparse model. So 8 oxygen atoms can be used if you bind oxygen to hydrogen. If you start with binding oxygen, if you bind oxygen to each oxygen molecule, 8 oxygen atoms are bind H2, two hydrogen, 8 oxygen atoms are bind to two hydrogen. H2O. So, but he get hydrogen, two hydrogen to one. But this is basically a covalent bond. So this is a covalent bond. This is not a ionic bond. So because usually you can bind covalent with you get if you get O2H2. This is still water, but it's bounded one way. It's bounded with water oxygen first. Depending on how you distill the oxygen to the water, but this is still water. When you get into water, it's just covalent bound differently. This is a covalent bond of water. We get to H2O, which is an ionic bond, I believe. Yeah, ionic bond of water. So it's the same thing. It depends on you use it. So you can try to control water via electromagnetic waves, which propagate in the water. So I believe this is what I've got for the system of magnetic fields. But the magnetic fields are basically there. North attracts, south repels. Basically have to work on the system of the North Pole is a kind of system of magnetic. They have to propagate around this. They have to orbit. So you have to think about orientation, not the orbit itself. So so you have to think about orientation. So if you don't know this, guys, this is basically so if you I'm trying to do it myself. So you get pi over four. Pi over four. Pi over four is a natural stable one for pi over four. Because the system is basically resolve itself. So it's basically a resolved system. So pi over four is a north. And you get pi over three, which is so north is pi over four, east is pi, and northeast south is pi over three, pi over two. And pi over two is northeast. No, east. South is north over pi, and east is northeast, southwest. West is pi. West is pi. So west is pi over three. So one say to you guys, the thing how this works is basically this model here. You have to use this model if you do calculus, guys. This is why I made this one. So you get if I remember, you get I don't know how I did it, but I got 0824. So something must give. Something must give. Whether it's the magnetic field that controls the water to the oxygen H2O, you have to give some either water to ice. Well, ice crystals are basically if I use the Fahrenheit degrees. So if you guys don't know this, I'm gonna leave some constants, guys, but you guys can look to check it yourself. So this one on the start with the thing negative. 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 newtons. 0 newtons of force you're using. So that's 0 newtons you're using. That's a fact, guys. That's a fact. Check it. That's a very important. Right. So this Fahrenheit represents the force I'm using to model this kind of system of energy. I'm using of power. So if this is lambda power, how much power I need over alpha reduction and beta reduction. Determine how much power the system needs over 2 pi r over 180, and pi r squared over 360. How much power I need? So this represents how much power I need in one system. So 2 pi r is the radius of the energy, and pi is a constant of pi and r is like a radius of power. But this radius is basically the axis. So this radius is basically not the radius. So if you got 0.5, you're really thinking about half the axis. So 0.5 would be half of 180. So you're thinking about you're operating on the axis of 90. So you have to understand 90 degrees is your axis in 0.5, not 180 degrees, 90, because you are not. So it's over 180 because guys have this model here. So how's the model here? So you're thinking about this thing here. So you have to have this model. So it's a very personal. Which one? So if you get 2 pi r and your radius is 0.5, that's halfway between 1 and 1 and 0. So you have to use 90 degrees. Or if you're using 1 for 1, you have to use 180. So so for example, 2 pi r 0.5 or 0.5 or let's do degrees. 90 degrees times pi times 2, which is 564 degrees over 90. 6.283185. So basically, this 90 degrees is basically from the north to the south pole of a system. Just for the north pole. But it's basically if you got like a north and south pole, you using 90 because that's the local minimum from point A to point B or the halfway point. But because it's 0.5, if you're using 0.6, you can use a 180. So it basically works on the ratio of 0 to 1. So let's try 0.3. So we use 0.3 for 5% times pi, times pi times 2. And that will be 282.7433 divided by 90, which is 32. You get 3.1415. I divided by 90. So I go pi back. So what did I put for the 5? The 5 is halfway of pi. See, I go halfway. So I got just the proof of 3.14159265. 35, and that's his pi, number pi I got. So this number pi is what I need to get. So because I was able to compute pi because I use 45 degrees over 90. So if I do it again, 45 degrees times 45 degrees times pi 3.14 times 2 equals times 2 282.743388 divided by 90. No, divided by 90, which is the local one. You get again 3.14 is operation of a pi. So the pi represents the constant multiple as a preserved. So again, this just proves my point. So why it works. So if you get pi r squared, pi times r, times r. Let's use r 55 times r, pi times r squared to the power of 2. Okay, let's say 55 degrees to the power of 2, which is 3,000 times pi, 3,025, 55 2,025 times 2,000 divided by times pi, which is 9,000. But 55 is basically you watch the quadrant. So you get if you don't understand, so you get the first quadrant. Number 55 falls into the first quadrant, so that will be divided by 90 degrees. Still, so you get the share ratio of 90 degrees in between the area, but you get the area of 90 degrees. You get 90 to 180. So I can apply 180 if I'm estimating the other products. But if you're gonna go to 180, 180 divided by 90. And I get one module. But if you get number 55 due to the power of 2 and I divide it by 180, I'm expecting the result to be in the other quadrant because it's going to work in poles. So in terms of, you have to determine the orientation of the system. And so 16.86055%. So that's how it works. That's how it works. So the number has to mark a ratio, and the ratio has to be you cutting depending on how much quantity. We have a 10 kilometer. So how so you get to say when you have a copper coil, you can have you have some kind of power to the coil, and you spin the coil. Basically you get to oscillating current, which is a current that's on the coil, current on the coil. I like to call it current on the coil. But you get some no, this is the electricity operation of a coil. This is called electricity. So you have to have wires cut. So it doesn't do yourself for wires cut. You can calculate the magnetic field that if you need to charge something. That's what you get. That's what electricity does. Because you want some magnets, polar coordinate system. So pi over 4 is the default of 90. So if I do pi over 4, I'm talking about pi over 4, pi divided by 4. 0.78539 pi over 4, which is the North Pole. North Pole. If I don't talk about the 5 over 2, pi over 4 is then I do pi over 4, and then pi over 4 times 360 times 360, which would be pi over 4, which would be this is North Pole. So I'm talking about the North Pole. So this is the North Pole calculation. So, for example, I do the North Pole is positive charge. So I just want the positive charge to charge them to say if it goes to 0 degrees, that is. So let's do pi over 4, pi divided by 4, pi divided by 4, because the 4 quadrants times Then do like a, if you times 55, 55, and that'll be 43.19. Basically, this gives you the angle of 1 quarter. So 55 units up of 7 units. If I do over 180, 0.2 to degrees. So, basically, I'm trying to take a radian of a system. So, pi r squared. So, if I do a radian of how to get radian, calculate how to calculate radian. How to calculate radian. So, I'm trying to calculate radian here. How to calculate radian here. How to calculate radian? Radian. How to calculate radian? Degrees to radian. How to calculate pi radian? So pi over 180 times the angle, 10 degrees. Pi over 180. So times degrees equals radian. So I'm trying to my calculator. So I'm trying to do pi. So pi divided by 180 is 0.017 times the degrees. Degrees is 65 degrees. Let me do 65. 65 degrees is the degrees. Okay, let me 55 degrees, which would be 0.9599. So pi over 180 is just pi over 180. But pi over 180 is just the radius degree. So 0.95992. So basically, this is basically the pi over times 55. So the angle 55, the angle in degrees, 55 is 0.9599 in radius. So we usually use the model of degrees. So first we're in degrees mode. So now we've done that. So pi over 180 is a degree. So pi over 180 times 55 equals 0.95993 or 0.95 0.956 approximately. So this is what I was going to say. So this 0.955 is stored now. Now I'm sure that's the point. That's basically the normal. So if this is repelling, it will be negative. But I'm thinking about the force involved. You got a vector here. So if I have the angle of the polar angle, the turn 55, I have to have turn then go to displacement of the different displacement difference, the displacement difference that's both positive and negative. So this is of 5 degrees Celsius. So I have to have let me say a unit of 30 of 100. So 100 meters. Let's say 100 meters of wireless. So let's say 15 meters. 15 meters. 15 meters. 15 meters of force. 15 meters of force. 15 meters of force in Fahrenheit, which is basically the measure of a temperature, will be 32, which is equal to 0. But let me calculate Fahrenheit to Fahrenheit. 15 newtons. 15 of Fahrenheit. 15 Celsius. Let me use Celsius to Fahrenheit. So I'm trying to do this properly. So my video is gonna stop now somewhere. Fahrenheit to Celsius to Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit 2 newtons. So like I said to you, first 2 newtons. So you get newtons of 15. So 15 Fahrenheit, 32 Fahrenheit equals 0 newtons. So 32 plus 15. So 15 plus 13. 32 plus 15 is what? 32 plus 15 is what? 47. So you get 47 Fahrenheit, which will be 2.2. So you need a force of 2.7500 newtons. to move something of 47 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically 15 meters across the unit. So this is the first thing. So you need 2.7 newtons, 2.75, 2,000, 2.7500 newtons of force. And how this will work is basically this newtons of force is what I need to have 15 meters range of electrolysis to control something 15 meters away, maximum. So that's the maximum force I need to put into it. So if I get 0.9, if I turn 0.985 in radians, I can now have minus zero point 0.9, minus 0.9. You get here. I can control the range of negative to positive, negative to positive, the amount of energy choices. But I can start from negative. So this is an ultimate. I have to decide how to orientate the stuff to move the stuff, and how the current moves, and how the orientation. It's not the wave I'm propagating. I'm not controlling the wave. I'm controlling the orientation of the wave, because there are too much things to calculate if I'm calculating. So I'm calculating the orientation of the poles, which are the northeastern parts to calculate. So that's what I'm working out. So my video is gonna stop now. Listen, I got 2.57 inches of force can move this. So how much meters on this? So I'm going to do 15 meters. 15 meters. So 15 meters will be 0.95993 to 15 meters. 15 meters away, and then you get on the x coordinate on the x axis, and then 0, 0, and you get 15 meters, and you get 21. So you get the other one. So this is basically the north pole, the north negative, the north positive, the north. So this force is basically 55. This is basically 55 degrees, 55 degrees in radians. To how much degrees? How much degrees? So I have one. Let me do the third quadrant. So the second quadrant, which will be let me do the third quadrant, which will be 182. So 189 degrees. To 189 divided by pi divided by 100. No, pi divided by 180 times 189. Let's see what that gives me. Pi divided by 180 times 189, which will be 3.2986, and the maximum range I'm trying to find is for the 30 meters. So this is the pi divided by 180, and then 30 meters, so times 30. So so my force I want to put is 30 meters of force. So this is basically giving me the matrix of so 30 meters of force will be in Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit will be 30 meters of force will be 32 plus 30, which will be 62. So 62 Fahrenheit of force will give me 62 Fahrenheit of force will give me 67. This will be 67. 62 Fahrenheit of force will give me 5.5000 newtons of force to put it. So let me try to get my bag and I'll write it down. So I'm going to do the issue this way. Because I'm going to show you know what we do. It works because I'm kind of silly here. Really silly here, but it does work as intended in the graphical. So so we get the equation. So I'm trying to have an equation to it. So 2 more minutes. So I have 2 more minutes. So this will work. So I have the numbers 0.958993 993 or 55 degrees to 15 meters minimum, which is basically 15 meters, which uses 2.7500 newtons of force for Fahrenheit to Newton's model of 32, and you get 189 degrees, which is 110 degrees, which is pi over, which is 3.298 degrees radians. So these are basically radians, 0.95893, which is, and you get 30 meters will be 5.5 to the power of 5.500 meters, and that's the goal. So basically, this is one matrix that it takes on rotation to rotation. But this can be this is not negatively charged because negatively charged because you use standard working out of current. But you have to use the current one. You have to work in a field, so it works in the field, but it does work. So see, this is my solution. This is my basically what I've done. So 5 degrees uh, uh, to 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 189 degrees Celsius of range. This range is basically kind of alternation system that does on the kind of system. 3, 2, 1. Let me end the video is going to get long. Thank you guys. Thank you and goodbye for now because my video is getting long. I'm using webcamera.io.